Okay, my name's Kyle. 30 years old. I got a family. I got 4 kids, well, 5 kids, and a wife named Jen. She's super amazing, good woman. The biggest challenge I faced was we lost our daughter, and it was shortly after birth. Everything went good, 9 months. Me and my wife were having a genuinely good time doing everything that everybody else did. The gender reveal parties, the celebrations, the gifts, the praying, the happiness, and it was all taken away from us about 20 minutes after she was born. Her umbilical cord had torn, and she lost blood, and we couldn't get her back. So part of that experience was me and my wife watching a good friend of ours at the fire department who was there for clinicals, watching our daughter try to be resuscitated, but to no avail. And to me, I just thought, why? I just thought, why? Anyway, shortly after we lost Rylan, is her name. Shortly after lost her, I focused on healing my wife. So I quit the fire department and I joined active duty. We'd served active duty for about 6 years. Again, everything seemed to be going correct there. I was in the military, and I partied more than most people, I guess. Got into some trouble here and there, but it was all fun and games, typical military thing. And but I was starting to drink pretty heavy. Kind of neglecting my 2 kids at the time. And then, I came back from Afghanistan. I think a switch flipped. But when I came home, I struggled a lot. I struggled with, night terrors. I struggled with anger. I struggled with everything. But the one thing I didn't do was I didn't lean into God at all. I still believed. I knew He was there. I didn't care. My wife, she got upset like I think any sane person would, and put her foot down and said, "This is over." I'm a guy I'd wake up in the morning, I'd have a drink with my coffee after we worked out. I would go into work like that, maybe a couple shots deep. I'd be at work during lunch. We'd have a beer. I'd go home. Before I went home, sometimes I'd have a beer. And then when I got home, it depends on what I had to do next day, but typically I'd be drinking from the time I was home till I went to sleep. This went on for a long time, and Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays were party days for everybody in the military. So those days, I can't remember half of those days. So anyways, we came to this area, and I remember I was doing good. I was totally sober. Everything was going fine, and we hadn't been going to church down here that regularly yet or anything, but we were doing our devotionals. Everything was as picture perfect as it could be. I was still struggling with some things, I think we all do. But I wound up slipping up again. I had one beer. I'm sitting down and I'm looking around. For me, everything's golden. I had it handled. Again, Kyle had it handled. Nobody else could do it for me. I was doing it. I looked around. We were at a restaurant. I looked around, and everyone else was drinking a Coke, and I had to have a Dos Equis. I had no idea why. I probably finished half that drink before I was like, I'm done. And I stood up and I left. I left all my friends there. My wife made a comment. It was that night or the night after about getting going to get help. So I started with AA. And through AA, God gave me this tool of AA. I sat down with people that struggled just like me, that had been through lots of hardships that were kind of self-induced, let's be honest here, but it's a struggle. It's a disease that grips some of us, addiction in general. And so I sat down with these people, and it led me to focus on my 12 steps. And part of our 12 steps is giving our will over to God. And you think you've done that, right? Well, I've done that. I believe in God, right? Jesus is my Savior. I was baptized when I was 12, so I've given up my will to God. But have you? Sitting down and making a list of people you've hurt through your time in recovery it's embarrassing, man. When you start reading the stuff that you've done to others, and you reading that to another man, you tear up. And then after that man looks at you and says, "Okay, now start calling these people." Whoa, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this, But it humbled me. The one thing I realized through my 12 steps was that God had my back the whole time. The whole time God had my back. Like, we'd pass this church every day and we made a joke. Well, there's our home church. We need to go to that church, and we just never did it. For whatever reason, we passed every day. And finally, we stumbled coming to New Life, and this has been an awesome experience and a great family to be around. Yeah, I'd absolutely consider myself an overcomer. I mean, but the thing is, I'm going to say the same thing I said before, that I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm the overcomer. I did it, because it wasn't me. It wasn't me. God gave me the tools, and I just finally opened the toolbox instead of standing there staring at it saying, do something, kicking it, do something. So, but yeah, I would say that I'm an overcomer through Jesus.
So what would you say to someone who's got the same struggles?
I'd say, I like saying it like this: pray out and reach out. We can't handle it on ourselves. We can't do this on our own, period. Mother, father, brother, sister, best friend, daughter, son. It doesn't matter who we lose. It's hard to lose anybody. Even if somebody's sitting in the pew next to you at church, right in that chair next to you, you're going to miss them. I'm telling you right now. When they're just not there anymore, it hits people. And the thing is, if you just hide yourself in the closet, say, I can handle this myself, at some point, it's going to get you. And guess what? That sunshine that you're missing on is God. So I guess the only thing I'd say is, anyone struggling, man, again, pray out and reach out.